All right, all right. I don't know if y'all can hear me. We're about to call the Board of Adjustments, forgot the date, August 27, 2019 to order. We're going to do a roll call. Mr. Brandon Bennett, the chairman, is absent, so I'm Devin Graham. I'm taking the chairman's seat tonight. I'm stepping up. We have Mr. Corey Ogeron, present.
Present.
Ms. Darla Harris,
Present.
Steve Jofrion,
Present.
Eddie Krass,
Present.
and Willie Robinson.
Present.
All right. Move on to public comments. Anybody who has anything for the Board of Adjustments, not a subject, but just us?
No.
I'd like to open public hearing. Nobody?
No, I
All right, we'll close that. All right, acceptance of minutes for July 23rd, 2019. Get a motion?
I move. Do we accept the minutes?
Got a motion? Second by Willie Robinson, motion by Corey. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and acceptance of written decisions for July 23rd, 2019. Get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Eddie Krass,
Second.
second by Corey Ogeron. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Catch my breath. All right, we're gonna start doing the consideration of the following variances. We'll start with zoning review ID PZ-2066.19, lot C for Roland Doucette. All right, senior, located on the north side of Butch Gore Road, approximately 2,400 feet west of Brignat Road. Anybody here to speak on that? You can step forward. I'm sorry. Basically, just kind of run us through what you're after, what you're trying to accomplish today.
Yes, sir. I put a building up to put my motor home in, to have a shop and a little place to kind of hang out. And I built the building and got some friends to help me put it together. I got a Mueller building. And before we actually was through, the rain was coming in from the south or southeast and coming inside the building. So I talked with the guys and they said, well, let's put you a little 20-footer so then that way you can wash your truck and pull it inside to detail it or whatever, be out of the sun. So we did that. I didn't anticipate having a big issue. I tried to do everything according to the rules. They told me I had to come off 5 foot from the side of my property. I came 15 because I just didn't want an issue.
Okay.
And sure didn't know that there was an issue with the front. I took a picture of the side of the building. I don't know if you have anything, if y'all investigation or what y'all do, but it shows the awning, and I'm 32 foot from the edge of my awning to the road, to the edge of the road. And like I said, I'm 15 foot off the side. I didn't kind of, it wasn't involved in my permit to do my building. I did it after. And I was going by down the road, and I took a picture of it just so that in case you're not familiar with the area of Lake Martin, there's a building there. It's probably 18 foot off the side of the road. And that's a quarter of a mile down the road from my house. On Billy Decato, they put a carport cover. That's about the same thing as mine, about 30 foot. So I'm not trying to rat these people out.
Yes.
I'm just saying that I went with what I seen in the area. I didn't know that there was an ordinance about going 55 feet from the center of the road. And
Yes, sir.
I found that out after the fact. So that's pretty much where I stand with it.
Okay, so this is already built. You already built the structure.
Yes, sir. And I regret it. If someone had an issue with it, my understanding, my neighbor across the street had said something to an inspector or something about it. He had come out and talked with the people that was helping me about building a pole barn on his property for his horses and stuff.
Okay.
And because the guy that was helping me told me that, if he had a problem with it, we was just starting to frame this awning. If he'd have said something, I'd have just ceased and desist and then applied for the variance at that point. Because they didn't want no issue with the parish. I'm not trying to break any laws or something like that. I saved for 15 years to build this building.
Yes, sir.
And I want to be able to wash my truck underneath a cover rather than out in the street or out in the open. I got the pictures. I don't need them. If you want to look at them, I can. I didn't want to
no,
approach
sir.
you without.
We're not going to base it off of
Okay.
too much off of anything else. If it was direct neighbor, maybe, but I
Sir?
wouldn't. I say if it was like a direct neighbor, I might would say it would hold something, but in
Yeah.
my opinion, it wouldn't.
Yeah, I got 10 acres of woods on the right side and pasture on the other side. I'm in the, used to be the Gore pasture.
Yes, sir. Okay. Y'all got any questions for the gentleman?
I do. Mr. Rowland, you said from the center of the road or the edge of the road to the front of your awning is,
I'm, from the edge of my awning, the 4-inch pipe or pole,
Yeah.
I'm 32 feet to the edge of the road.
to the edge of the road?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it gives you about 42 feet to the center of the road?
I didn't measure
Probably,
that.
okay, all right.
I figured that,
Bigger the roads, but is it a 20-foot road or?
no.
Oh.
There's probably a 14-foot. Yeah, about a
Okay.
14-foot.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Anybody else? Jamaica, is somebody here to speak on it? No. All right, just because I got an open public hearing, anyone here to speak on the matter? No? Closing public hearing? I can't hear you.
Thought I saw someone that wanted to speak.
Oh, going twice? No one to speak? All right, closing public hearing. Lance, y'all, how do y'all feel about it? I read what y'all wrote, but I mean, you think a compromise? I know it's a very rural area. It's been a little while since I've been down the road, but
Right. I know the road's very narrow,
Yeah.
and when we scaled it off, thought that was from the center line, but it must be from the edge. But I would agree with Mr. Rowland. The road is probably around 14
Yeah,
to
it must be.
15 feet wide.
very narrow road.
So he went to the edge of the road, so another 7 or 8 feet from there.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing from this picture and the drawings and all, looks like he's pretty far away from the road. I got this drawing here, says 52 feet from,
That's from my building, sir.
That's from the
where?
building.
That's from the building. It's 52 foot from the building.
oh, that's without the awning.
Correct.
Yes,
That
sir.
was,
I
What's,
got
what's the depth of the awning then? 20 foot?
20 foot.
Okay, so yeah, 32.
Okay.
Okay.
So 30-some feet.
The two Google Maps we have are different.
Yeah, they are.
Could someone give us
Sure.
clarification on
Yeah.
the, which building and awning we're speaking of?
we're speaking of the awning that's on the Google map. It's on the Google itself. The map that I have, I just wanted to show the property lines in relationship. That image was taken with our GIS, and that was prior to this building being constructed on the site.
So
Okay.
that black and white one
So
you're
the
looking
black
at?
and white.
Black and
is the
white one is
the building on the left.
Correct,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I was really having questions as to why we were concerned about the building on the right
Yes.
of the,
Correct.
you know, of the house, but it's the one here on the left. Good.
Correct.
All right, any other discussion, motion, negotiation? It's an existing building, so it kind of makes that hard.
Did you build this building yourself?
I didn't build it by my hands. I got some friends to help me put it up. I bought a building from Mueller, and I would have put it further back. Well, had I known, I'd have done what I had to do. But my concrete cost $34,000, and I just couldn't afford to go back further than that. And I didn't know I was going to be putting it on him, but I didn't know about this ordinance either. And I didn't want to put limestone because my motor home weighs 26,000 pounds, and I just figured I'm going to put limestone down a couple of times, and I'm going to have to dig it out and put concrete down the road, and it's going to be more money than what it is right now.
Yeah.
Pushing rocks in the ground, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, Lance, one more for you. This is zone rural, right? This isn't conservation. Is that conservation on this side, or is that rural?
I want to say it's probably, I have to pull, but I'm pretty sure it's
Just
going
one
from memory.
clarification.
I would
It does say
believe it's going to be
conservation.
conservation.
It
Yeah,
is.
Okay.
so it's
It's
conservation.
Is
conservation.
is it attached? Is the awning attached?
Willie's asking, is it attached?
The
It's-
awning attached to the building?
Sir? Oh, yes, sir. Can I approach and I'll show you a picture
Yes,
of
sir.
it?
You put it up.
Actually, I was gonna say, you can put it on that screen up there if you like. That way everybody can see it.
Oh. Look out. Why didn't you tell me you had that? Man, I'm trying to draw a picture with words.
Well, that's close.
So I wrote into it, yeah, I think you can see it. From the building to the awning is 20 foot, so the awning is 20 foot, and then 32 foot to the edge of the road. One of my neighbors stopped, well, since that little yellow sign y'all put up, that's a great way to meet your neighbors. Because I've had them come in and ring my doorbell, and I don't know them. But, you know, what's the issue with that? So I told them basically what I was told. The issue
Mr.
was I
Duquette.
wasn't gonna tell them any stories.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
The awning itself, can it be detached from the building?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
it can. I mean, it's constructed to the building. I put it on after.
Okay,
So we
but
screwed it on.
if needed, it could be removed from the building and not affect the building.
It just, if I take it off, it's gonna cost me about $4,000.
Do-
It's one of those situations that are hard, because you sit there and think about it, it's very rural. So I'm going, it's very rural, I understand the road, I understand the area.
But we don't have any neighbors that are complaining about it either, so.
Lance, do we know the breadth of the right-of-way there?
Right offhand, no. I would have to look that up. I would probably think the right-of-way is probably 20 feet, if I was guessing.
Actually,
20?
if you don't mind, could you put that back, that picture back up? And there's a power pole in the background.
Yes, sir, that,
Could you tell me approximately how far that is?
in front of my pole, it's about 5 foot. It's an optical illusion because I'm taking a picture.
From
at
an angle, yes, sir.
But from the front of the pole, it's about 5 foot
As
forward.
an idea, so.
Gotta usually put them on
So
property line.
you're definitely 5 feet beyond the
The side of the pole?
the
15.
utility.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah. I'm back about 4 to 5 foot from the telephone pole. And then it's 10 acres of woods before Keller Road.
Right. I don't think any part of the building is within the right-of-way.
Okay.
I'm
I just wanted
sure
to
of
make
that,
sure that
correct.
we were secure. The way the photo looked, it
Sure.
kind of gave me some concern. And then just making sure that if anything has to be done in the future,
Right.
we're
and-
not granting a variance that's imposing upon the right-of-way.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
It's kind of a tough one for me because, I mean, I feel like we policing for the building department. It's already constructed, but it's so rural, I don't see where it would matter. And
Actually, Cody, can I ask you that question? I was given this variance and him not having a permit to do it, we're not stepping on anybody else's,
I mean, that's why it's here in front of y'all.
okay.
If y'all deny it, then the building department may have to take over, but first step is to come to y'all and see if we can get a variance.
Okay. All right, it's on y'all. I'm the chairman, so I have to vote.
Dang, Mr. Eddie.
Get a motion, negotiation?
Torn, I don't know what to do.
I don't see any negotiating room, it's already built, I guess.
Unless you just haven't removed the awning.
So is it, question?
Sir,
So what's your hardship? Is it, you don't wanna,
well, I
Remove
didn't
the-
care that the rain was coming inside my building because I didn't think about that. And I thought of putting like a 12-foot lean-to. And the guys that was helping me, it was Ricky Malonzo, and he said, Roland, aesthetically, it'd be better, and what are you gonna do with a 12-foot? You can't park your truck underneath there to wash it.
that was another question I was gonna ask, what's the size of your vehicle?
21 foot.
Okay.
But I mean, I can get most of it underneath there, and so I'm not out in the weather, and then I can pull it in to dry it off. So he said, it'll look better if you keep the same lines. It doesn't look like an eyesore, like an add-on lean-to.
So, I'm gonna ask you again, is that a hardship or,
Well, at this point, I wish I wouldn't have, I wish that if my neighbor had a problem with it, that he had said something that day when he was
Correct.
talking to Ricky about building a pole barn, because I'd have ceased and desist on that, because the building was already permitted and stuff.
Right.
I have my motor home parked up underneath there now. I have not pulled it in because I haven't finished the building, because this was kind of hanging in the balance. I said, I'm not gonna break the rules by parking it in there. It's not my building yet until I get a C of O. So, so if you ever wanted to widen the road, I wouldn't at that point have a problem with taking the thing off or dropping it down to a 12.
Yeah, see,
I'm gonna
that's
have
right.
something on it to keep the rain out the front.
Right.
But this does look better. He was right about that. If you ever had a problem with it, I don't have a problem with, at that point, I'd take it down. But y'all be putting the airport down there if you make that road 20 foot wider. So, there's not enough houses on that road to justify. That's what we were told when we asked for them to relay it. That's been about 12 years ago.
Yes.
Well, I
And we
mean-
asked three separate times over a 12-year period to get it repaved. It had been 39 years since it was built.
So was it at time of election or what?
Probably.
It's all about timing,
No, I
Mr.
think
Rowland.
that's why it took a while. But when they come, they made it a little bit wider, because it was about 12 foot. And they made it up to about 14. I wouldn't have had a problem with them going a little, and I wouldn't have had a problem giving part of mine I think Harold Marchand was in office when we got that done.
It's been some time.
Because what I had a problem with, I'm all about fairness and stuff, but they come out and staked out my property, and they staked 26 foot of mine, taking my oak trees, and 6 foot of my neighbor's. He has 21 acres, and I have 1 acre.
Just not to, I'm sorry, just gonna go back on subject. And
Yeah.
I don't think we can't really make a rule that says, if they ever decide to widen it,
Yeah,
that you can agree to take it down.
we either give it to you or we
Yeah,
don't.
as I was about to say, I don't wanna do that or try to set
Okay.
that precedent. But we do need to have a decision made from this panel, so.
Well, look, I guess I wanted to tell y'all, the building doesn't encroach within the right of way.
No.
So whether they widen the road or not, it's not really gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors stopped and said, "Thank you for pouring this concrete right here, because when the buses are coming in the morning, if I miss the time, and I can pull in your driveway." I say, "Look, I appreciate that you appreciate it, because I spent a lot of money on that concrete."
You ready for a motion?
You gonna take a stab at it?
You ready for a motion?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I move we approve granting the variance on this particular property.
So approve as written?
Approve as written.
All right, I got a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second by Eddie, so motion to approve is written by Corey Oldron, second by Eddie Krass, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations,
Thank you very
motion
much
passed.
for listening to me.
Got it, Mr. Rowland.
All right, at this time, we'll hear zoning review ID PZ-208.19 for lot C-2 for Mrs. Anisette Guidry, and for lot C1 C-1, C-2, C-3 for Florine and Drew Vincic. Well, I need to learn more Cajun names. All right, property located on the east side of KC Road, 1,100 feet south of Highway 621. Welcome. Y'all here to tell me what y'all trying to accomplish today with the variance?
What we're trying to do is build a shed.
Matt, can you introduce yourself? I'm
Oh, I'm
sorry,
sorry,
because there's
Drew
so many
Vincic.
names.
I'm Drew Vincic.
Okay,
My wife.
okay, thank you.
What we're looking for is a variance on the setback for building a building closer to the property line. I think the current setback was 20 feet. And what we're looking for is trying to get closer to the property line, such as 5 feet. Because we have 5 feet on the side, which is fine. But we'd like to build a building to the property line. And the reason being is whenever we build the building, it's going to come straight off the driveway. And when we come straight off the driveway for a mobile home and boat and stuff like that to
Yeah.
put in the building, we have, number one, we have such a long driveway that we have to back everything all the way back down or pull it straight in. So we're looking for a straight shot instead of curving behind the house and stuff. And we have a utility pole that's located off the concrete, about 5 feet or so behind the concrete. So what we're trying to do is build a building beyond the utility pole, because the utility pole stretches to the house.
I got you.
We have to push the building even further back to clear the distance, so we're not underneath the power line. That's it in a nutshell. Then, that's basically the only part of the property that doesn't flood. That's the highest point in on the whole plot. The entire front yard and the whole side yard all floods from Bayou Narcisse, which goes down.
Goes right in the angle.
Listen,
All right, so just to clear this up, because I like to know, it is on medium intensity, we said it's 20 on the back, 5 on the sides, and you're asking for a 15-foot variance.
5.
Yes,
No, he's going- he's going-
Isn't it 5?
He's asking to be 5 feet off the property. Huh?
Oh, yeah, it's 15,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So 5 feet from the back.
So-
property.
My favorite thing, so you're talking about flooding, so what's back there? Is there a drainage ditch? It didn't appear to be one. Is there a drainage ditch on the back of the property?
no, sir, it's a cow pasture.
All cow pasture?
Yes, sir, it's all undeveloped.
That's what I thought. And then
See the picture,
Yeah,
in the-
looking straight back.
along the rear of the property line, is there any utility lines that go on the
No,
back?
sir.
It just goes straight back to the house, right?
No, sir, it just goes straight back.
That's what I'm saying, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
Like it goes down
Behind-
the side of your property and then goes to your house? Is that how that utility line worked? I drove by kind of
it's,
quick.
can see
yes, sir,
that
it's,
from here. It's hard to.
hard to see, but you can see on the left side, the, utility pole. And, that feeds our neighbor. They
Yeah,
have a
that's what I'm saying.
pole.
What I'm saying is it comes up the side and then
It comes
jumps
up the
across.
side of the property.
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir, okay.
Comes down our road, you're right.
All right, that's my few questions. Drainage and utilities.
What are those buildings in the back that I'm seeing on this map?
One of them is, the
Watershed. if you will,
Watershed.
Or water pump,
that's where the water pump is located for the house.
and the other one
And
is
the other one's
small-
just a small, low,
Little garden shed?
yeah,
Okay, so a
portable.
well house and a garden
The
shed.
little watershed.
So it's part of y'all property as well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we,
It looks like you got a fence around it or something on this map I'm looking at.
yes, sir,
Yes.
it was a pet dog fence.
That dog.
Oh, dog fence, okay, all right.
Yes, sir,
Well, that
that's one.
explains it. It made it look like somebody else's property is why I asked.
Oh,
sorry.
no.
That's ours for pets.
Go ahead and ask this. Is this not constructed or any way, no concrete poured or anything like that?
No, sir, not
Okay.
yet.
We got a permit, so, yeah, early. Got the stakes in the ground, that's when we asked for the.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, that's when we realized, we couldn't go back as far as we could, when we saw the stakes that day.
He is the really, Bayou Narcisse is a killer. We've
Right.
had 2 floods up to the house. This is really our only valuable piece of property.
Can you speak? I can't hardly hear what you're saying.
Yeah, this little swatch of land that we're asking for this variance for the shed is the only piece of property that hasn't flooded other than the house. We have a unique position. You can see it's right on the property line to the right. Because of Bayou Narcisse, we've had water around our house, literally, and covering our driveway twice. Hurricane Andrew, Gustav. Luckily, thank you guys very much. That 26-inch rainfall didn't come up nearly to the house. So we do not thank
It's a
you.
little difficult to
Draining.
see, but I highlighted on the map the area that has never retained water. It basically comes from where my thumb is, extends all the way on the other side of the property line to the road, to Bayou Narcisse, down Bayou Narcisse, the whole back pasture, or side property, comes up to the house. The highest water ever got was actually underneath our front porch at one time, here in this corner, and this area right here behind where we're trying to build has never retained any water.
So, Mr. Drew, if you built on this section you're asking for right now, do you know approximately how much you would have to elevate it, if any?
The contractor said we really don't have to elevate it at all. What he was planning on doing is just back dragging from the property at the property line slopes toward the house, and all he was planning on doing was pouring the slope, just dragging the existing dirt in order to pour the slab.
So if you were to build it there, if you were to build it on the other side of the property, you'd have to put in several feet of fill
Yes, sir, I'd have to build up
for
land.
the driveway and the
Yes, sir.
foundation.
And can't really see an elevation, but it slopes off pretty pretty
Steeply.
quickly off.
Yeah, I can
there.
imagine
Yeah.
by the bayou sides, it
Right.
slope off
Yes,
on
sir.
each side of the bayou.
And the driveway, as you can see, our property, and when it gets to the end, is really tiny.
Yeah,
And we have a natural gas pipeline that crosses the middle of our property in
And
the
that's in
front
the front, we have a gas pipeline.
that we can't
But,
build upon.
about where that bridge is.
Yeah,
it's
it's
right on
right
the
on
other
the
side of
side.
the bridge, yes, sir, right here.
Gotcha.
Is there any chance that you could build construct the building not have the variance, like smaller?
Well, we already have the building, and originally we were planning on building it to the property line, and then it was like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to at least come 5 foot off the property line because of the power line is here, and it actually slopes
I'm about to do that
to
next.
the house, so we had to come way back over in this general area to at least get from underneath the property line. So we reduced the size of the building to accommodate at least the 5 foot from the back.
And we did ask Entergy to come out, and the engineer immediately said, we've got to raise this power line. So we have done that. They've raised it high enough where you
where
can drive into a shed.
But, this power line
It can't be
comes
raised
in at an
anymore.
angle to the house. And it's kind of hard to tell, but between the power line and the house, it's actually only a couple inches. And during one of the hurricanes, the power line actually hit the house and burned a hole in the side of the house.
Oh.
So we had to tell Energy to kill the power, and so I had to patch that. So there's no way we can actually move the pole up, because then we would touch the house again. So,
Let me do this. Let me open up for a public hearing. Is anyone here to speak on this matter? All right, and then I'm gonna close public hearing. Go ahead and knock that step out. Lance, is there, on the back of this property, I remember the parish did more drainage servitudes on the back of the properties, kind of blanketed the parish. Do we have any of that back there, or is it
No, so
just
there's no
setbacks?
dedicated or existing
dedicated.
servitudes along the back of the property.
Okay. And I don't get the vote, so I like to look at the future, and I know this parish is kind of growing. There's a lot of land back there, so I'm kind of worried personally that if you're that close and someone did go do anything back there and they could consider that their side, your building and their side of their house structure, et cetera, would be 10 feet apart.
and that's the
So
current
I like
standard
to-
now anyway.
Yeah, I understand.
Side to side is.
I know, but if
still
someone,
side.
if for some reason we did, I mean, I'm trying to look at your neighbors and all that drainage. You're talking about a lot of water here, so, matter of fact, do your neighbors' property drain through that back area? You were talking about putting this concrete or anything?
No,
'Cause
sir, it dry.
we're trying to
There's
protect everybody.
Took it down, but,
Just show that right there. All of our
all the drainage drains towards the
straight
front
towards
ditch.
the road. A little-
So there's you can't really see it, but on the side of my driveway, there's a drainage canal here
Okay,
that drains that way.
And because our neighbors are high as well, we get all the water.
okay, so,
And it usually short channels and goes
yeah.
straight to our road.
This side goes on their side of the property. On the
So you're
left
telling
side
us
of
that
house.
the drainage from your neighbors would go through the front of your property more so than the back of your property?
Right.
Is that right? Okay.
And
The
there-
only back flooding we get is from Bayou North.
Right.
The pasture is such a great, flowing area.
Let me ask you this.
No
Yes, sir.
standing water.
Is there any negotiation, is there any way to move this building, resize this building? I personally feel 5 feet's way too close for rear. Being here since '94 and seeing this parish change,
well,
if they ever need to do something, I'd like to have that ability for them to do it.
If we try to rotate the building, then I run into the watershed,
Okay,
the water well itself. So taking the 5 feet off the side and the distance of the building, we basically run it, because you have to still come back off the power line,
right.
and all you're doing is you're lengthening the size of
What's the size of your building again?
it's 55 by 40, and what we were looking for was a 5 foot setback on the 40 feet that the building is set on. I don't need the 200 feet of existing land, I just trying to
Just
get
want
the
the
building, the minimum for the building. We have a 35 foot RV that needs to go in there, and a boat, and Then by the time we stick that in there, I have to have room for the utility shed. That's why it's the size it is.
Well, I'll put my 2 cents in. I personally don't see a hardship. The lay of the land, I understand that. I respect it. I respect trying to stay out the drainage and not put fill. Believe me, I respect that. But I personally don't see a hardship. But I do need to entertain a motion if there's a.
Well, I mean, while we're discussing
Yeah,
this, since
I
you
was gonna
putting your opinion in,
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
put my opinion in as well. I think it's, especially with all we have going on now, listening to the pulse of the parish with the elevation of properties, it makes a lot of sense to build here and not elevate versus to build elsewhere on the property and potentially elevate 2 to 5 feet. And the driveway getting to it as well.
Yeah.
So, that's my 2 cents.
Oh, no, I'm not opposed to the location of the building. I'm just thinking
Another
some depth on
difficult
the
one.
back might be
Yeah,
some negotiation tactic on that. I agree with you on that.
we can't squeeze it forward any, just a little?
Well, if you do forward, then you're
In the power
in
line.
the power line.
Can you shorten the building?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's,
Can you make the building any smaller?
well, it's already cut and constructed. I mean, it.
I understand, but it's panels, isn't it? Is that set up, and again,
it's a
I haven't
Mueller
seen your building, so I,
Yes, it's just a regular Mueller building.
right, so I mean, I'm kind of questioning, if you're looking at something that's gonna be 55 foot long, and you're trying to accommodate a 35-foot trailer, could you take 5 or 10 feet off of that building? And then I think we'd be a lot more likely to be able to grant a variance,
Yeah,
if that's possible. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm just asking that as a question.
Well, we could look at,
Do you
I
have
have
a,
to do what I have to do, you know? I can't turn the building sideways because it's not gonna fit,
Right.
so.
I might be a little out of my place. Don't forgive me. I'm kind of electrical contracting on my paycheck side. I do know that those power lines. I know you already worked with energy. Might be out of this subject, out of this, but energy could help y'all with relocating that power line forward if we can't agree to anything today. So
They can also board
go
underground,
underground.
can't
So, but I just want to throw that out there. I'll apologize.
So,
Anybody else? Any other discussion?
I do have a question of the.
Yes, sir.
We pulled up the
Staff
the
recommendation.
staff recommendations, and it said the staff did recommend that
Minimum variance?
minimum variance for the applicant to construct the shed. What is that?
So-
equate to?
Let me find it. I got it right here somewhere.
And I think that kind of goes towards the question I asked you.
Got it.
Is,
about the
you know,
building?
The variance that you're requesting, the staff is saying, we don't see the hardship for that. So I'm trying to figure out some kind of way that we can negotiate with you to make the building smaller possibly, so that we could, you know, with good conscience, all agree to grant you a variance, just maybe not as much of a variance as you're asking for.
What would you recommend?
Do you have a sketch of the building?
No, sir.
No, sir, sorry.
What I would like to see accomplished possibly, even if it's something that we can do here, is give the Vincigs the opportunity to communicate with the manufacturer of their building. See if there's a way that you guys can construct it smaller, and then maybe reappear at a future meeting.
That'd be 100% on them, and
Can we do that, or do we have to make a decision
They
today?
would have to.
They would have
request that
to-
you table it. and then-
table and
So we couldn't just table it, they have to reapply.
Well, they have the right for y'all to take action on it tonight either way. If they want to pull it, they can pull it. And we can come back for reconsideration with additional information if that's what y'all are asking
Yeah.
for. They'd have to make that request.
Okay.
That's good. We just request 10 foot?
Yep.
well, we can negotiate that 10-foot tonight. We can end this tonight. Sorry,
Okay,
accent.
we-
We can end this tonight with negotiation. Staff is recommending deny what's written, and then we can say, well, we would like to negotiate and do a 10-foot variance tonight, and we're fine. We don't have to come back. That's a possibility to do
Would
tonight.
would 10-foot work for y'all?
We'll do what we can to make it work.
There you go.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve with a 10-foot variance.
All right, got a motion by Steve Joffron for
I'll
10
second
foot.
that motion.
Second by, I'm gonna give that to Willie. He raised his
Got it.
finger.
Go ahead.
Really,
So-
beat me?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Got a second by Willie Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank y'all.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, at this time, we'll move to any old business. I don't believe we have any. Any new business? Again, none. And a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Steve Jovian,
Second.
second by Ms. Darla Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank y'all.